Where is Drew's little girl, and who's taking care of her? She's a quartermain, right? Or have we forgotten that part? Michael was perfectly capable of handling his family and protecting his kids before Drew decided to meddle in his marriage. Honestly, I'm getting pretty tired of this storyline. But I have to admit, Cameron Matheson does a spectacular job playing the most conniving, manipulative, and just downright despicable guy on the show. It's almost impressive, except now I can't even watch him on Hallmark without feeling like I've been betrayed. And Drew? Well, he tried every single manipulation tactic in the book today, didn't he? I'll sacrifice myself for my kids, he says. Maybe Drew should try that for his own child for a change. Instead, he's all about trying to convince Willow not to make her own decisions. It was honestly pathetic. But in the end, shocker of all shockers, Willow made the right call. She let Tracy go and chose her kids. And if there was any lingering doubt in her mind, it was completely erased the moment Willie's little face lit up seeing his mommy walk through the door. That was priceless. Willow didn't just thank Jason, she thanked Sasha too. It was beautiful, and Jason got to witness that special moment. Willie's joy when he saw his mommy was everything. Now, can we talk about Cody for a second? I'm still not over him shaking down Spinelli for money, and then decking Lucky. I audibly gasped at that one. Seriously, Cody is sliding back into the scoundrel he was when he first landed in town. I miss the Cody who was so sweet on Sasha, who loved his new family, and especially the one who gave kids writing lessons and bonded with Tracy. Can we please get that version of Cody back? Not the one who's turning into Drew 2.0. And Drew, what a shocker, didn't get to be the hero. Willow made her own decision without him and didn't need his help for once. Drew's whole issue with Willow moving back to the gatehouse? It's not about the house. It's because he's banned from the Quartermain estate and can't be with Willow there. Pathetic. Either Sonny or Jason need to take care of that problem once and for all. Seriously, can we get back to the good old GH? You know, the one with actual storylines that don't revolve around endless deaths and murders. I get that life is messy, but soaps were supposed to be an escape, not a constant parade of depressing drama. Whatever happened to the family moments, the holidays, the celebrations? The writers have gotten way too dark for my taste lately. Just my 2 cents. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Drew is the worst. At least Willow finally got her priorities straight and chose her kids over him. But of course, Drew's throwing a tantrum because Jason had the nerve to swoop in and actually help Willow. He's even salty that Willow said she still cares about Michael. I'm so ready for their relationship to implode, and once Michael's gone, I'm fast-forwarding through all of Drew's scenes. Bye-bye, buddy. And seriously, Drew's all concerned about Willow's kids, but has anyone checked on Scout? This guy has been living at Willow's house for ages, and yet he's still claiming he doesn't know how to be a dad without her. That's why I always thought Jason should have been Scout's dad instead. Drew needs a reality check. And don't even get me started on Carly. She's in everyone's business like it's a full-time job. Her son is a grown man, not some helpless child. He's no saint either, and neither is she. Carly and Joss need to get off their high horses already. It's beyond annoying how they act like Michael's some innocent angel who's being victimized. Drew's really going off the deep end, though. He's so obsessed with revenge that he's using Willow and Michael's personal tragedy as a weapon against the whole Corinthos family. It's honestly disgusting. I felt so bad for Wiley when he told Sasha he missed his parents. At least Willow finally did the right thing and put the kids first by staying at the Quartermain estate where they feel safe. It's what Wiley wanted too. Remember, he didn't want to go to Nina's in the first place. Felicia dropped some serious truth on Sasha, telling her that everyone messes up and deserves forgiveness. Too bad Drew can't take a hint. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and Lucky are out here dealing with Cyrus and his mom's mysterious issues, while Cody's life is spiraling. He lost money, lost love, and now he's fighting with Spinelli because everything's falling apart. Then there's Sonny, who won't even get his heart checked out. Isaiah keeps telling him to do it, but Sonny's more concerned about flexing his power than his own health. Honestly, I'm starting to think that hit on Sonny's penthouse wasn't even meant for him. Maybe it wasn't a mob hit after all. Oh, and Drew? He told Martin he'd do anything to free Willow and Michael's kids from the Quartermains. Yeah, because he definitely has their best interests at heart, right? If Drew really cared, he'd stop making everything about revenge. I'll let Willow breathe for now, but when Drew comes back, I hope her cancer comes back with him. Because knowing them, their next romantic hayride will probably result in a baby that's caught up in the mess with Sasha's. And that's going to be a hot mess. Still hoping Sasha ends up pregnant with twins, though. That would be fun. Jason? Yeah, let's talk about Jason. I know this isn't the most popular take, but I'm honestly feeling some sympathy for him. The guy was forced to do mercenary work for years, off fighting battles and missing out on his kids' lives. And when he finally comes back, it's like everyone suddenly decided he's the villain. I mean, I get it. He wasn't exactly winning any popularity contests. But here's the thing. No one actually stopped to ask why he made the choices he did. They claimed to know him so well, right? So if you know him, why didn't you ask? Then there's Sonny. Once he finally got over his little tantrum, it was straight back to business. No big deal. Like Jason's absence and all the crap that happened in between was just a minor inconvenience. And what's Jason doing now? He's back to cleaning up everyone's mess, as usual, Sonny's, Carly's, and now the Quartermains too. Oh, and let's not forget, he's suddenly a single dad. For the first time? But let's be real here. Jason wasn't forced into any of this. He chose it. He chose to let his family, especially his kids, mourn him, also Carly could have her freedom. Apparently, that was more important than being a constant presence in their lives. But here's the twist. This version of Jason, it's the most interesting he's been in decades. Watching him juggle his birth family, his chosen family, and all the chaos surrounding them has been a real eye-opener. He's still got that loyalty to Sonny and Carly, but now, finally, Danny is his top priority. He's in the Quartermain mess, sure, but he's still right there with Sonny, sorting through whatever crisis the mob's throwing at him. It's like he's straddling two worlds, and honestly, it's been kind of compelling to watch. Do I feel sorry for him? Nah, but I am curious about what's next for him. And trust me, that's something I haven't felt in a long time. Cody definitely deserves better than what the writers have been handing him. Since he arrived in town, it's been one dumpster fire of storyline after another. The guy has so much potential, but every time they give him a halfway decent start, it's immediately derailed by gambling issues, mob ties, bar brawls, or some other ridiculous, recycled plotline. Can we just get a consistent, interesting story for him? Please? When they paired him with Sasha, things started to look up. They actually wrote him as a more compassionate character with some depth. And then, when they unpaired him and made him Mac's son, they added a bit of vulnerability and charm that made him more likable. But now, suddenly he's back to being the guy who gambles and bullies Spinelli for no reason. Why? What happened to the progress? Cody deserves way better than this. Honestly, it's baffling how the writers are squandering his potential. The minute Cody found out Sasha was his cousin, it's like they decided to press reset on his character and turn him into one big pity party. It's just not entertaining to watch anymore. Let's just get rid of Drew already. Seriously, at this point, who wouldn't be on board with sending Drew Quartermain packing? I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had enough, and honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of others feel the same way. Yes, Scout would be an orphan. No mom, no dad. But honestly, she'd be way better off with Alexis, her grandma, or hanging out with the entire Quartermain clan. I mean, she'd have a whole army of family members around her. Ned, Olivia, Monica, Jason, Brooklyn, Danny. Talk about a full house. She'd have so much support, especially if Drew were out of the picture. But let's make his exit interesting, right? Picture him realizing he's burned every single bridge in Port Charles, and then slinking off to Washington, completely disgraced. That way, they can leave the door open for his dramatic return whenever they feel like it, without having to actually kill him off. Just a little emotional exit and poof, he's gone. So, apparently, they might be chemistry testing Lucky and Christina. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it might actually work. Roast away, because honestly, I kind of deserve it for thinking there could be something there. Look, I get they've messed with ages before, but I'd still be constantly haunted by the fact that he was a full-grown man when she was still in diapers. But seriously, there was this moment when Isaiah talks to Lucky and says, "I'm glad you decided to stay." And then immediately, after seeing Elizabeth, Lucky goes, "Me too." I mean, for anyone out there who isn't Team Liz and Lucky, I'm curious what you think about how this is being written. From where I'm sitting, Lucky's feelings are pretty obvious. Now, I know I'm biased because I want them back together, but still, his words, his actions, even his facial expressions, it's a pretty clear story in my book. I also have a theory that one of JJ's conditions for returning was to work with RH. I mean, unless they somehow become besties. I'm guessing a romantic storyline is on the horizon, and I'm all in for it. I mean, how often do we get the original actors of a pairing back together after decades? Plus, both JJ and RH are incredible actors, so they're going to absolutely bring it. The only downside? JJ signed a 2-year contract, so he might not be around for a long-term reunion. How typical. I honestly don't have much sympathy for Willow, and while I know some might disagree with me, I just can't bring myself to feel sorry for her. It's clear that she's being influenced, and unfortunately, she's not seeing it. I really hope someone can help her realize what's going on, because right now, her lack of awareness is frustrating, and it's making things much harder for Michael and his family. I couldn't help but wish Nina would finally tell Willow about Drew's involvement, just to clear up the situation. It would have been a game changer. But Willow, she's just repeating what she's being told. Carly and Sonny are manipulating you. Carly and Sonny are manipulating me. You may not get your kids back. I may not get my kids back. She's not really thinking for herself at this point. Yes, she's being manipulated, but I think she's reached a point where she's no longer a victim. She's choosing to believe Drew, who's the only one not challenging her right now. Do her kids deserve to be with her? Absolutely. But the way things have escalated didn't have to go this far, and Willow knows that. She's in a situation where she's experiencing power for the first time, and unfortunately, it seems to be affecting her decisions. Honestly, if Willow could just confront Drew and his behavior, it wouldn't suddenly make me a huge fan of hers, but it would show that she's truly trying to find peace in all of this. I know I'm probably not saying anything new here, but I do hope that Willow eventually faces the consequences of her actions. And when the truth about Sasha and Michael comes out, I really think it's going to be a tough moment for Willow. I'm not exactly her biggest supporter, but I think she has some hard lessons ahead. I really hope they don't bring Michael back as some bitter, evil version of himself when he returns. Oh, I can already feel the frustration. I mean, they'll probably try to use his return as an excuse to prop up Willow and Drew, making us all get used to those two as a couple, and then boom, Michael's back as the villain. Suddenly, he's the bad guy with his wounds still fresh, while Willow and Drew have moved on, and the audience has already accepted all their weirdness. It's like, really? We've seen this play before. Sure, people are probably hoping for Michael to go full villain mode, maybe even hate on Sonny and take over the business. I get it. There's some value in the drama for those who aren't tired of the same Michael versus Sonny routine. But honestly, for those of us who've been through this same storyline every couple of years, no thanks. Unless Michael physically assaults Willow, there's really nothing he could do that would make me flip sides. He wants to destroy Drew's career or team up with Curtis to take Aurora from him. Fine, go ahead. Be as petty as you want, because honestly, the writers haven't done much with that storyline yet. And as for Willow, honestly, he should give her the same amount of thought she's given him the past few months. Co-parent when necessary, sure, but it's time for him to move on. Chase has been stuck in this whole Willow's knight in shining armor thing for years. Michael doesn't need to pick up that mantle. Michael's such a great character because of the internal struggle he has between what's right and his loyalty to his family. Turning him evil, that would destroy everything. We'd just be left with 3 wrecked characters. Making him evil wouldn't fix Drew and Willow, it would wreck Michael too. As for the whole Luke and Laura thing, sure, people like to talk about them as the iconic super couple. But as someone who came to the show later, the second I found out about the rape, that was the end of my liking Luke as a character. He never recovered in my eyes. I was more than happy when he left and eventually died off-screen. In my eyes, Laura and Kevin were the true super couple. General Hospital, once again proving that accuracy takes a backseat to drama. You have to wonder what kind of medical advisors they're using because, honestly, they should be fired. Take today's scenes with Sonny, for example. He's having chest pain, so he decides to take his diltiazem. But wait, Sonny passes out before he can even swallow the pill. Enter Natalia, our ever-competent character, who finds him unconscious and, naturally, thinks the best move is to shove a pill into his mouth. Except, newsflash, diltiazem isn't for immediate relief of chest pain. It's a medication you take regularly to manage your heart condition, not as a quick fix when you feel a little discomfort. For actual, immediate relief, you need nitroglycerin, which is what Sonny should have had on hand, but that's too sensible for soap opera land, right? Now, let's get into the real medical horror, putting a pill in the mouth of an unconscious person. First off, that's like a disaster waiting to happen. There's a big risk of aspiration, meaning the pill could end up in his lungs, causing him to choke. But in soap opera world, it somehow works. Natalia just pops that pill in, lets Sonny convince her to not call an ambulance, and instead makes some random phone calls. Meanwhile, any competent person would have dialed 911 immediately, checked for a pulse, and started CPR. But nope, not Natalia. She just lets Sonny talk her out of the most basic medical response. And here's the kicker. I get that not everyone gets their medical info from TV shows. But honestly, when the show is this off the mark with something as important as health and safety, it's painful to watch. It's almost like they expect us to suspend our disbelief, so much that we forget the basics of CPR and basic heart medications. It's just sloppy, and I can only hope GH starts taking a more realistic approach before they give us all a heart attack of our own from sheer frustration. Great, Lulu's back, because that's exactly what we were all begging for, right? Seriously, can someone explain why they decided to bring her back, just for her to be a wandering ghost in everyone else's storyline? In today's episode, she literally had no real purpose, just running around like an extra in someone else's drama. And don't even get me started on the endless buildup they made about her waking up. I mean, people were so invested in that, right? Everyone just loved waiting for Lulu to blink her eyes open. But then, surprise, surprise, they cast a completely different actress to play her. Awesome. And now she's somehow being a terrible mother to Rocco. I get it, motherhood is complicated, but this just feels like an unnecessary mess. It's genuinely frustrating to watch. Here's my theory. Lulu and the Spencers probably had some grand, bigger storyline planned, but Chad Duell's sudden exit probably threw everything into disarray, so now we're stuck with this strange, aimless arc. I was also expecting a lot more backlash from fans, considering Kelly Monaco was so beloved in the role. But honestly, I kind of agree with the sentiment. For years, I was hoping Laura would finally get her kids back. They did bring them back, but of course, they can't seem to write anything worth a darn for them. So, here I am, just waiting to see if they can ever make something interesting out of it. If these are really Chad Duell's final scenes as Michael, can I just say how unbelievably underwhelming his send-off was? For a guy who's been on the show for over a decade, you'd think they'd give him something a little more memorable. At the very least, a final scene with Sonny or Jason would have been nice, right? Instead, it felt like they were rushing him off the stage. And that awkward scene with Willow, seriously? It didn't need to be some tear-jerking farewell like Sam's. But considering they're already tossing burn patient protocol out the window, they could have at least let Sonny make a quick cameo in the room to say, hey, get better in Germany, or something. Just a little more effort, you know. Also, I'm dying to know what Michael wanted to talk to Sasha about. Was he going to reassure her that raising the kid on her own was the right call? Maybe offer her a house and some money? Or, just for fun, maybe it was a here's a middle finger to my wife moment, asking for another woman while he's in the hospital bed, all in excruciating pain. The possibilities are endless. Honestly, this whole thing screams leave of absence more than a full-on departure from the show. They sedated him. Sonny mentioned to Christina that Michael couldn't have visitors because of his immune system. So that's probably why they skipped out on any big goodbye moments. It feels like they're just setting up for Chad to come back pretty soon. They barely even touched his face with the burn makeup, which is a pretty obvious setup for a recast if they ever want to go that route with plastic surgery. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.